So, Email to Income. This particular webinar is brought to you through the Australian Small Business Advisory Services Program and is brought to you in conjunction from Business Station Western Australia, Treaty Business Consulting in the Northern Territory, and Regional Development Australia here in Queensland. So we have a number of topics to get through today, but if you have any questions throughout the chat, I'm going to ask you to put them into, questions throughout the webinar. I'm going to ask you to put them into the chat feature for me. I do want this to be a little bit interactive. So if you have any questions, quite often I find people come to these webinars with a series of questions. So if I don't answer those for you, please put them into the chat. And as it said, you will get a copy of the recording as well as we go through. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kerrie Saverin. I'm the co-founder of RDA Business Solutions, and we are very proud to be part of the Australian Small Business Advisory Services Program and love showing small business owners how they can increase their bottom line through the introduction of digital technology. So you're in the right place today if you're ready to gain a clearer understanding of email marketing and some of the tips on making it a success or making it more successful than what it may already be if you're already sending out emails. So when we do webinars about email, we do find that a lot of people who turn up are people who are about to start an email list or who want to start an email list. So I think you'll find you'll get a lot out of this today. So what we're going to go through, we're going to have a little bit of a talk about a bit of strategy. We're going to be talking about that elusive question of how do you get subscribers into your email list. We're going to be talking about subjects and topics and subject lines, because that's really important when it comes to your opening of your emails. And then I really want to talk to you about the analytics, because I think the analytics is actually where you will have success in your emails, or where you can convert your emails to success. And it's a big factor of what people actually miss out on. So let's talk about strategy. Now, you've probably heard the word strategy so many times, but it really is important that before you decide to start an email list, or maybe you've already started one and you need to reassess, that you have a strategy about the reasons why, like why are you doing it? What do you want to do? So the first thing you need to do is determine your goals. So what's the purpose of sending your emails out? You know, is there a product that you want your potential reader to purchase? Or are you using your emails to build rapport with people and there's absolutely zero selling going on in there? You know, we know that it takes somewhere between 12 and 18 digital touch points before somebody will do business with you. Now, when I say that for a reason, because firstly, if you can actually combine, you know, emails, phone calls, and face-to-face with the customers, you cut that amount of time down to 8. So people only need to either receive an email, a phone call, or see you 8 times before they'll do business with you, if it's something that they need. You know, if they have a problem that your business solves, keeping in mind that most businesses only exist to solve the problems of their clients. So if they have the problem that you solve and you just meet them today, if you are conversing with them face-to-face or via Zoom, over phone call and over email, you're looking at about 8 touch points before they'll do business with you. But if you are only digital, as in you don't meet people face-to-face, you don't make phone calls, you're completely relying upon digital, then it's 12 to 18 touch points. And that has to be different touch points, as in if you're not going to be calling them, maybe it's a text message. So it's interesting to note that when it comes to things like social media and emails, there's a level of skepticism now, isn't there? Like you know, we hear about it all the time, about these cyber crimes that are happening. There are things that we don't really believe. You know, very few percentage of people would actually go, oh, I got an email this morning about this and I just purchased the product. I thought it was awesome. Because there's a level of not just unbelievability, but also I'm going to check that person out before I hand them over my money. You know, I'm going to. So knowing your goals and knowing exactly what you want to do is the first step of creating a strategy. So you need to have a bit of a goal page. Then you need to think about, you know, when are you going to send them out? how consistent are you going to be? What frequency are you going to send them out? Now, if you're just starting out and you're really not sure, you might say, look, I might just start out with once a quarter. And then once I've got once a quarter down pat, I might look at starting once a month. So if you think about it from creating a strategy from the beginning, once a month sounds like a lot until you sit down and go, well, really, it's only 12 emails. Surely I can put aside half a day and get my 12 emails organized so I can get it done. So, you know, having that consistency of what's going to be going out and when's going to be going out not only makes it really easy for you to be able to organize your emails, but for the people that are receiving your emails, they have a level of expectation as well. So they know that on the third week of the month, you're going to be sending them what's happening next month. So, you know, a really good example for us is that if we send out normally the second or third week of the month, we would send out an email to all of our database saying, hey, look, here's all the workshops and webinars that are coming up for May if you're interested in going along. And we find that when we do that, majority of our, a lot more, not majority, but a lot more of our clients will actually come along because they know and they want to be actually able to use this service. So how often you're sending it out, and just making sure that you're being consistent with that. Consistency is key when it comes to emails. It is a bit of a long game. It's not a quick fix by any means. Now, there's a variety of different content and format that you can send out. So yes, we're sending out an email, but what is in that email? And I'm not going to talk about topic because I'm going to talk about the actual topic a little bit later, but I'm talking about format. So for examples would be like, is it going to be a product review? Are you going to do a product comparison? Are there going to be tips? Is it going to be a how-to tutorial? Is it going to be an announcement? Is it a last chance? Are you creating some anticipation for something that's coming up? So you might have an event or something that's coming up and you're creating that level of anticipation. You're sending them maybe a cheat sheet or something valuable or a checklist or templates and worksheets. They work really well. So, you know, you're trying to give value to somebody, but you need to have different formats. And what's great about this content format discussion is that you take your 12 emails and you go, okay, well, first of all, I'm going to do a product review. And then I'm going to send them a bit of a worksheet to work on. I might do a how-to tutorial, so how to do this. All of a sudden, you've got some very different emails, you know. So on the screen there, you've got 10. So you've nearly got a whole year's worth if you're sending once a month out. You know, so, and then of course there's always, you've got your holidays that you have in there as well. So you've got your Easter and you've got your Christmas. So you need to be touching base with your clients on those times as well. So, but this just gives you an example of once you sit down and you start writing a strategy and you think, okay, well, I know that I'm going to send my emails out once a fortnight, and I have an idea of what sort of format I'm going to send, and we'll get to topic a little bit later. Another thing for you to consider is email sequences. Now, an email sequence is where somebody subscribes to your list and you send them a series of emails. So some examples of that would be maybe an introduction series. So this is like a welcome series that you send. So you let them know what it is that you do, what your business is about, and then maybe you send them a series of emails to tell them about the different services that you have. There's the special promo sales sequences. So this includes things like launches of new products or maybe weekly or monthly specials. I was saying to you earlier about the events that are coming up. We might have a series of emails that go out about that. There is the fear and logic game concept. So this is normally kind of like a bit of a sales sequence. So it's normally a 3-part, you know, where each email appeals to a different emotional or rationale. So they then actually want to purchase. So that's a little bit more salesy when you're going down the line. And then there's objection handling. So this is where you can raise and cure objections. Otherwise, I like to call them fears, uncertainties, and doubts. So if you can have a welcome email that's, you know, basically introduces who you are and then cures all the fears, uncertainties and doubts that your clients might have about purchasing from you in an email sequence, then that's going to be really ideal. Then there's the onboarding. So this is where you send an initial email sequence to new customers. You might be reminding them of the benefit of the product that they have purchased. There's nothing worse than purchasing a product, and it's happened to me before, where I purchase a product and all I get is that email that says, you know, confirmation you've purchased this product, and I don't get anything else. And I never hear from them again. I just purchased that product and that's the end of it. Couple of things. First of all, I feel as a client or as a customer, I really feel like they've, you know, I've bought the product off them and they've just dropped me like a hot potato. And quite often I find that a lot of businesses have these email sequences set up to be able to get the customer in the first place. But then once they've got the customer, they go, oh, great, that's it, we got the customer, thanks a lot. And they never nurture that customer. And I think that's a real letdown with a lot of businesses, is that once the customer has purchased from them, they don't nurture them. So you can have an email sequence where the customer purchases and you're nurturing them after the purchase. But essentially what you do want to do is you want to take your customer on a journey. You want to take them on a journey from knowing nothing about you and your business to knowing about your business, to them having their fears, uncertainties and doubts cured, to you actually starting to talk about the problems that they're having so they feel like that they can do business. But, you know, what's the end goal? Like where do you, on this journey, where do you want them to get to? And that goes right back to the very first point about setting goals. You know, if your goal is to just simply build rapport and add value, then you can just simply continue to send emails and you can do that. But if you're wanting to get them into purchasing a particular product, or maybe you're an online business that has a course that you want them to purchase and the closing date is coming up, well, the end of the journey is going to be when they do those things. Now, here's a little tip. I tried to find a really good picture, and next time I actually do this, I'm going to take a picture of my own, but everybody has a window or a sliding door. I use a sliding door. And when I'm thinking about my customer journey, this is kind of how I map it out. It's not quite as messy as this. I feel like this is a little bit all over the place. But I normally have 5 different coloured Post-it notes, and each colour will represent a different kind of email. So it could very well be that, you know, one email is a promotional email. So one colour would be promotional. Another colour might be an educational email. And another one might be a storytelling or an inspiring email. So when I'm working out how I'm going to send it, I have my little Post-it notes and I write the concept on the Post-it note, the idea. So send an email to the client about this and this. It's just very brief. And then I stick it up in order. And I have a look at it as a journey and I go, oh, okay, that's how the customers, oh, how are they going to feel when they get to that? No, I'm going to change those emails around. So everybody talks about, oh, let's, you know, have a fancy whiteboard. We all want those fancy whiteboards on wheels that we can, you know, plan out everything on. But really it's as simple as having a sliding door or window. And we find that this works really well for us, and we can just stick our Post-it notes up in order. We can change the order, and then once we've got the basic order, then we can start writing some more comprehensive notes. So it's just a little bit of a tip. That's a really good way to be able to see it all, and it can be on a wall, it can be on a door, you know, whatever you've got where you are. And you know, just go through. I'll be honest, we didn't start out by doing this. You know, I'll talk to you about our emails a little bit later. But yeah, we were a little bit all over the place, and I wish we'd have had this plan when we started. So the next thing I want to have a chat to you about is getting subscribers, the ever elusive getting subscribers. This would have to be the #1 question that people ask me, is how do you get people into your email list? Now, our email list at this point in time is around about 900 clients big. And when I say 900, that's 900 subscribers. So we've certainly in the last 2 years put a lot more people in than 900. But we currently have about 900 subscribed, not some of them have unsubscribed and moved on, and that's okay. People are going to do that. But how do we get those people in? Well, I'm going to touch base on a few things. First of all, you may have heard of something called a lead magnet. Now, a lead magnet is something that you offer your audience in exchange for their email address. So whether that is over your social media channels or whether it's in person, you could offer an ebook or a webinar or video or an audio. You'd have PDF checklists and worksheets, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So it's something that would be of interest to them. So what I normally do is when I'm out and about and I'm meeting people in person, I'm going to go to the networking kind of arrangement first, and then I'll move to online. But I'm out and about at a networking event. I've set up basically I guess you would call it a welcome series of emails. I meet somebody, the first thing I do is, do you happen to have a business card? Yes, I do. They give me their business card and I go, great. They go, what is it that you do? And I say, look, we work with our clients in social media management to make sure that the right content is being sent out at the right time and attracting the right kind of customers. And they go, oh, that sounds, social media, I'm not that great at that. And I go, oh, well, would it be handy for you if I sent out some ideas on what you could use on your social media? And they go, oh, yes, that would be great. So my first email is actually a PDF download where people can download some information on social media. So I'm not asking them for anything. I'm actually offering to give them something. So I say, would it be okay if I sent you an email of this? And they go, yeah, of course, that'd be great. Thank you so much. And that's how you can use a lead magnet to get people into your email database. You're offering them something, you're giving them value, and saying, give me your email address and I'll give you some value. So not only does it work in that networking scenario, but it also works in the online platform as well. I mean, how many times have we seen either on social media or that's kind of the main platform that I work on, obviously. But you see, click here or enter your email address here to get this. So that is a really good way to be able to get people in. Another way is to actually have people subscribe to your newsletter via your social media channels. Now, this is a screenshot of our Facebook page, because a lot of people don't realize that in your Facebook page, you can actually have a subscribe to newsletter button. So as such, they can go to, when they go to this form that you're seeing here where it says the email address and the first name, this is actually our MailChimp. You can link MailChimp and Facebook together, and so it all comes up. We love to use MailChimp, and Facebook allows us to have, subscribers newsletter button on there. So it might be an option for you to consider using that. But the other thing also is that you can consider using things like stories and post to get people into your email list as well. You should be using some sort of email software like a MailChimp or a Flowdesk or something along those lines. And when you do, they quite often will have subscription pages that are an actual website. So you can send people to that website so they can subscribe to your email straight away. So that is another good way of being able to get people into your email list. Another one is that ever elusive pop-up that comes up on your website. Now, this could be a discount code if you have an e-commerce site like this one is here, or it can just be a simple pop-up saying, hey, would you like to join our email list? Or it can say, hey, the majority of people that come to our website are interested in X. To get some information on that, please enter your email address. So obviously platforms, as I said, we use MailChimp. So MailChimp offers this service. It's a bit of code that you put into the header or footer of your website to get it to come up. And it pops up after a certain amount of time. So you can actually set that. You can say, look, after the customer's been on after so many seconds, make it pop up. I'll be honest with you, there's nothing worse than being on a website and you're halfway through reading an article and a pop-up comes up. That really annoys me. I kind of like it to come up as soon as I get onto the website, just, get that pop-up happening for me. If you're not keen on having a pop-up, then you can consider embedding the sign-up form to your website. We've actually done both. So on our homepage, when you go to our homepage, a pop-up should come up. I said should because I think I may have deactivated accidentally last week by removing the code. But it should pop up. And then also if you say, no, I don't want to subscribe, but then after reading our site, you decide, oh, this is pretty good, at the very bottom of that first page is an option for you to be able to subscribe to our emails as well. And then the other one is just to ask, to simply ask people. You know, our whole entire goal, wherever we are and whatever we are doing, is all about building our business. And the first part of building our business for us is about email. Now, I say that because an email is extremely powerful. An email list is the only thing that you actually have control over in the digital world. And I say that is, you know, social media, your Facebook pages, but those people are just numbers. You don't have their details, do you? You don't have any of their details. You can't download an email list and email them off the platform. You can't send them to your website unless they choose to go. You really don't have any control. And I think recently, earlier this year, we saw Facebook actually get rid of all the news sites. And mixed up in a lot of that was also a number of businesses who weren't news, but they did this blanket shutdown. And all of a sudden, they were looking down the barrel of contemplating life without using their social media channels. And a lot of them were not prepared at all because they hadn't built up their email list. They couldn't go, okay, so social media is gone for us. We need to flick everything over to our email list. We need to let everybody know that they can find out all the latest details on their email list. So an email list is something that you have control over. You have control over the content that's going in there, as in the names and all of that kind of stuff and where that's coming from. And then you have control over what you do with it as well. So it's really important for your business that you don't just rely on one particular thing, because if it is taken away or it changes or it doesn't work anymore, then you don't have anything else to fall back on. Now, the next thing I want to have a chat to you guys about is topics, because the next thing, so we, you know, let's just have a bit of a check-in for a second. We now have a bit of a strategy or a plan for where we're going, the journey that we're going to send our customers on when they sign up for an email. And we now know, you know, basically to get people into our email list, we have to have the option for them to subscribe everywhere, and we have to be consciously putting people in there. One little thing I will say about the MailChimp platform is that they have an app, and that app comes in really handy for us, because when we're out and about and we meet somebody, we can add somebody to our subscriber list through that app and start sending them emails straight away. And there's nothing more impressive when you meet somebody at a networking event at 9 o'clock and at 1:30 in the afternoon, they send you an email. You sort of go, wow, she said she was going to send that to me. So that can have real impact. So a little tip for you there, which is why we love MailChimp. So now that we've got those people into our email list, it's time to start sending them emails. And while the subject line is obviously the first thing that people see, I just want to talk about the topic first, because obviously your subject line comes off your topic. So a lot of people say, that's great. What am I going to send them now? So you have an idea of the different types of emails that you can send, as in it could be an announcement or a promotional email, but if you're wanting to send things about topics, well, what should you send? So firstly, I would like you to get some inspiration from your inbox. So take note of your own inbox. So what are the subject lines that are being used, and which emails have the best type of content, and how is it written? So, you know, 996, I think that's probably about the number of emails I actually have in my inbox at the moment. And if you're like me, it's a never-ending cycle. I think I get somewhere between 150 and 200 emails a day. So for me to keep up with all of that is obviously not that easy. I do try and unsubscribe to a lot of the spam that I get. That really, you know, spam really frustrates me. But, you know, going through, if there's things that actually grab my attention and I open them, I think, well, why did I open that? What was it about that subject line that got me opening it? And then when I read it, how did it make me feel? Did it make me read it all the way to the end, or did I read the first 2 lines and go, yeah, now I've opened it and it doesn't, you know, it's not relevant. So just take note of all of those things. I mean, if you can evoke some emotion in someone through reading an email, then that's obviously ideal. So take note of your inbox. To get ideas for topics, a really good idea is to browse YouTube and to see what others are talking about in your specific industry. So depending on what you're in, you could do a bit of a search on YouTube. You could find the most popular videos. You could look, these are a lot of things that people want to know about, and you could turn that information into an email. The great thing about that is that those YouTube videos usually have all the content that you need. So you can simply just transcribe them, change them a little bit, and there you've got your email to be able to send out. We find lots of information on YouTube. We love it as a source of being able to give us inspiration. Having a look at what's trending on social media. Now, when I say trending, I'm not talking about every single thing. So I'm talking about your industry. So normally what you'll find is your social media, if you're on social media, your social media account will be very specific to you and who you are. For example, in the world that I'm in the marketing space, I have a lot of people coming up offering marketing services because that is something that I am interested in. So I will see a lot of that. If you are a doctor that specializes in brain surgery, and you've been, reading the latest articles that you can find, then you will find a lot more of those articles are going to be coming up on your social media. I'm not going to see articles about brain surgery because it's not an interest of mine. So particularly Facebook has been really good, really clever, I should say, about showing us the things that we are already interested in, that we want to see. And I know that these new changes that are coming to iOS, which means that Facebook will not be able to follow you off the app anymore, what will happen is they will just keep you on the app so that they can follow you. So it won't be encouraged that a business advertises with a link to send them off the platform, because once people are off Facebook, they won't be able to be tracked anymore. Where they've always been able to track us. They've been able to see, well, we left Facebook and then we went here and then we did this and how long we stayed there. So looking at your social media can just give you an idea for things that are trending at the moment, things that have happened and things that people are talking about. Breaking news is another really good one. So if there's recently been something on the news that could be of interest to your reader, then sending out some emails about breaking news is really important. Now, obviously, this can't be part of a sequence because it's breaking news. It's not something that you do all the time, but I'll give you an idea of where it could be a sequence. I used to be a real estate agent, and I found that I was sending out emails to my client and clients. The best open rate or the best opening email that I had was when I started sending them on the day that the RBA was making their interest rate decision. So everyone's hanging out to see what's going to happen with interest rates. Are they going up? Are they going down? When they're in real estate mode, because they're either selling or they're buying. So if they're buying, they want interest rates to be low. If they're selling, they want to know, is there a demand because interest rates are low? It's all kind of relative. So what would happen is, I think that decision would come out at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I would have an email that would be templated or ready to go. And then I would just be able to enter in, here is, the RBA made a decision. Here was the interest rate that was announced. And what does this mean for you? And giving them my 2 cents. And that was the most opened email that I had, because it was around the breaking news. So Kim's just sent me a message about Facebook. Yes, so Facebook is actually having some changes with iOS. So anybody that's on an iPhone, yes, it will affect your website pixels for people that are on iPhone. So basically iOS users have had an extra level of security put in. I'm an iPhone user. I love that they're putting the extra bit of security in. And it means that people won't be able to be followed off Facebook any longer. So I just can't remember the exact date of when that's coming up, but it must be very shortly. So so be ready for that little change. But breaking news is a really good one. If you can just sort of get on the ball of being able to send an email out to your clients about breaking news in your industry and what that means for them. So I don't want you to do the whole reporting thing. I don't want you to go, I'm just going to regurgitate everything that was just said on the news. What I want you to do is I want you to say, your subject line would be something like, RBA rate decision, how does it affect you? Question mark. Let's find out. So they open the email, and you might have some scenarios. You know, in the case of a real estate agent, how does it affect you if you're a homeowner? How does it affect you if you're an investor? How does it affect you if you're a buyer? How does it affect you if you're a seller? So that way you're sort of touching base with all of those people who could potentially be in your email list. And then there's always one of my favorites, Mr. Google, as I like to call Mr. Google. So if you want to go to Google, search a niche, search your industry, find articles, see what people are talking about. Google is great for that as well. Now, there is another website that I haven't put in here, and I probably should. I'm just typing it in now. It's called Answer the Public. Answer the Public is a free, I think it's answerthepublic.com is the website. It's a free service for up to 3 searches a day, and you can type in any word and it will show you all of the questions that people are asking Google in current, like now. So if I was to go on there and type in social media, it would give me all of the questions that people are asking in relation to social media. So, you know, growing my business using social media, how do I use social media, all the questions. And it literally just gives you so many topics. So if you're really struggling for content to be able to send out, then you can always go to that website, type in your word. So if you're a real estate agent, type in real estate. You know, if you're a brain surgeon, type in brain surgery and find out everything that comes up about that. And you'll find a lot of the questions that are being asked are questions that your clients would be asking, questions about the fears, uncertainties and doubts, or how-tos. How do I do something? You know, that could be a really good topic for you as well. Now, if you're on our mailing list already, you may have noticed our mistake, but we started our email sequence, as I'm going to call it, over 2 years ago. We started this automated email through MailChimp, which is our platform of choice. We started writing blogs about everything and anything, you know, any topic, just to get sort of people interested. Now, don't get me wrong, there's been a degree of success with our emails. They go out once a fortnight to everybody. And there's been a degree of success. It's nice to see that, you know, it's great that when we meet somebody that they get an email. You know, that's been really convenient for us. And we also know that we've done 2 years worth now, 2 years worth at once a fortnight. So if I meet you today at a networking event, then there's 2 years worth of emails that are automatically going to go out without me doing anything. But the mistake that we made, and I bring this up because I want you to learn from our mistakes, was not keeping the emails on topics relevant to what it is that we actually do. So we work in the social media space. So we work in the social media space and we deal with small business owners. So not having our articles be about growing your business to using social media. Okay, so that was our mistake. We just started sending out emails about everything. And I mean, the topics that we sent out were great. And we can see by the open rate that many people like them. However, we really need to niche it down, because we don't know when we're sending out emails on just whatever topic, we don't know that we're actually talking to our client. Like, somebody might be subscribed because they just love those emails that we send out, but they don't actually own a business and they're not interested in social media. So they're a waste of having somebody on our email list. They're never going to do business with us, and this is what it's all about. So we're now in the process of changing those emails to be more brand specific and more on topic for what it is that we offer. So please make sure that any emails that you send out are around what it is that you offer. I don't want to see the sell, sell, sell all the time, but I also don't want to see no selling, because that's the other end of it as well. So, you know, it's been, when I say I love mistakes, because mistakes obviously teach you a lot. We've learned so much about email in the last 2 years, and it was just through doing. And you guys will do the same thing if you haven't already started your email list. Once you start, and you'll have a look at the analytics. I'm going to talk about the analytics. I've just got a couple more things to get through before we get to analytics, but we're going to talk about that as well. Subject lines. This is, again, it's one of those questions that just keeps coming up when people want to talk to me about email, is subject lines. What do you put in the subject lines? What is the best subject lines? I don't like to beat around the bush with this one. I like to just give you a bit of a list. So you've got the list there. Ignore the questions to ask your clients bit up the top. That is not right. That obviously I had my mind in another place when I did this, but this is just some tips on your subject lines. So, you know, keeping it short, keeping your subject line short. It doesn't need to be a novel. It just needs to be straight and straight to the point. The second one there, avoiding clickbait. So, you know, making sure that you don't have something like, you know, actress Julia Roberts is dead. That's the kind of clickbait that we're talking about. People get really annoyed with that. So you can present a benefit into your email subject line, which will get them opening it. Some examples would be, you know, the easiest way to lose weight. That might get the attention of somebody, you know, if you're in the health industry and you're talking to people about losing weight, then a subject line like the easiest way to lose weight would be something that they would be interested in. Arousing curiosity. So asking questions in your subject line. So, you know, are you making these dog training mistakes? Are you tired of being frustrated by your social media? So arousing curiosity and asking a question is always a good one as well. Conveying urgency. Now this is where it's warranted. I don't want you to use this all the time, but where it's warranted. What's your view on using emojis in subject lines? Good question, Kim. Yeah, look, I think I'm probably a little bit over it. And I think people are a little bit over it. I don't use emojis in my subject lines at all. I don't even know if I can through MailChimp. I haven't even really tried, to be honest with you. I think people are just a little bit over the emoji thing. One or two, yes, but certainly don't go overboard with it by any means. You're not trying to write a subject line with pictures. You want them to actually know what the email is about. So conveying a sense of urgency where it's warranted, you know, last chance for 50% off, you know, if you've got a sale on, or if you were doing a course or something online and you only had a certain booking time, you know, like we're not taking registrations after this date. So conveying a sense of urgency, you know, this is your last chance to book in for the webinar that's happening tomorrow. You know, that kind of urgency, but don't use it all the time because people get a little bit tired of it. Be specific. So, you know, your subject lines need to be, the more credible and attractive it is, the better. So being very specific on what you want. So some examples, numbers work really well in subject lines here when I'm talking about being specific. So you could say, you know, reasons why you can't lose weight. That could be a subject line and that may be very effective, but a more effective one would be 7 reasons why you can't lose weight. We're very attracted to those numbers, particularly if, excuse me, particularly if they are odd numbers for some reason. That's, you know, what that's. So, personalized, I've put be specific in there twice just because I thought it would be a good idea. But personalized subject lines is another one that you can do. I'll be honest with you, I haven't tried this in MailChimp myself. And the reason why is because when people enter their email address via our website, they literally just have to enter in their email address. They don't have to enter in their first name or their last name. I'm not asking them for too much information, you know. Just give me your email address and get to know me first. And then if you want to do business with me, I'll ask you for your name later. But you know, when you go to subscribe to something and it says, give me your first name, give me your last name, what country are you from? And you're just like, whoa, all of a sudden, I thought I was just signing up to a quick, you know, bit of content that I was going to get or some information that I wanted. And now you want to know the date of my firstborn child, you know, so you just be careful about how you're asking it. So personalizing the subject lines, the reason why I don't do it is because I don't take first names, but certainly if I get an email that says, hey, Kerrie, I haven't heard from you in a while, and that's a subject line, I'll go, oh, who is this? Do I need to open it? You know, what am I going to do? It does get my attention. Asking a question. So we touched on this a little bit earlier, but, you know, is this food sabotaging your diet? Would be a good one if you're in the diet. You know, Do you love Paris if you're a travel agent? Not that you can go to Paris at the moment, of course, but you know, do you love Alice Springs? Maybe you should visit there now that you can't go to Paris. So that would be another one as well. Utilising social proof. So social proof is where you suggest that other people are doing something specific. So social proof, if I'm talking about social proofing a business, I always talk about reviews. You know, we like to hear the stories of other people that have used a particular product or how they felt about the product. So, you know, you want to hear a bit of a story, a bit of a social proof that actually gets people to take action. So you can use phrases that suggest that others are doing something. So something like, I'll stick to the weight loss. If I'm thinking about weight loss, would be, you know, who else? Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I'll just have a little drink. Too much talking, too early in the morning. Who else wants to lose weight fast? So that kind of subject line is indicating to me that there's been somebody that has lost weight fast. And so I want to read about that. I want to see how they did that. Another one that you might have seen is something like, you know, 200 other people can't be wrong. This works. You know, so it gets people sort of in there. Avoid anything spammy, you know, aggressive sales messages, subject lines that are in all caps. I mean, we know how those make us feel. When we get them ourselves, you know, if I get a subject line that's all in capital letters, I'm sort of like, why are you shouting at me? And then I think, wow, where did that come from? I don't remember ever somebody sitting me down and saying when somebody sends you an email all in capital letters that it means they're shouting at you. But that's how it comes across. So, you know, multiple explanation points, you know, sale ends tonight, act now. In all in capital letters, it's not great. That would just be going straight to my junk mail. Making people feel special. So exclusive offers for subscribers only, or you're invited. You know, a free report for your eyes only. All of those types of ones, they work well. They evoke a little bit of emotion, makes it feel like it's personal, even though logically when we sit down and think about it, we know it's not. But definitely. And helping people, you know, I've probably said this before if you've been at my other webinars, but the main goal of whatever you are sending out, or the main goal of your business, is to help people. You're curing someone's problems. So you want to create subject lines that show people that you intend to help them. You know, so you could say something like, if I'm thinking of SEO, so free SEO video to get more traffic. Want to travel well on a budget? So you're going to give them, you're going to help them in those kind of emails. So I don't have a lot of slides when it comes to talking about subject lines, because I really feel like this kind of covers it. The best thing that you can do is take note of what's coming into your inbox. And a lot of people don't. They go, oh, you know, I've been getting all these emails for years and I've never really thought about how it actually makes me feel. Or look at the people that you have continued to subscribe to, even after they've sent you numerous emails. And what's the reason why you've done that? So there are some top words that you can use. You know, attention-getting words do work well. Using words that, actually I might, with the recording of this video, I might just send you a little bit of a list, but using words like you, amazing, guaranteed, proof, free, quick, surprising, breathtaking, all these kind of words, they're just mind-blowing. They have a little bit of an effect on people. So I might just, I'll put that with the recording of today, so you've got that list as well. Analytics. Now, this is where the real magic happens, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and getting the same results and never doing anything about it. You know, it's kind of like I see people sending out emails. Oh, I started sending out emails, you know, a year and a half ago, but I'm not seeing any results. And I say, well, when did you look at your results? And oh, we looked after the first month, you know, and it's just been the same ever since then. It's been the same for the last 12 months. That's insane. If you're not changing what you're doing, looking at your analytics and changing it up, then that's just such a wasted time. So with most marketing platforms, you can look at the back end of your, and that's why I like to use something like MailChimp. I have the paid version of MailChimp, so I have great insights. I can see everything. I can see where people are clicking. You may have heard of this heat map. I can see the heat map of my emails and where the most amount of people are clicking, etc. So it's no use having this information and not doing anything with it. So I'm just going to give you a brief example of what it could mean, and we can talk about the analytics a little bit more. But let's say that you sent an email out to 100 people. I'm keeping my numbers really easy for me. It's early in the day. We've got 10 minutes to go, so I can't get too many numbers at this time of day. So you sent an email out to 100 people and 11% of them opened it. Now, what I can tell you is that the average open rate for emails is sitting at between 23 and 25%. So if you have 100 people, this is why it's important. The numbers just keep going into the top of your funnel, or your numbers just keep going in. So our open rate on our emails, as I said, we've just hit 900, I think, subscribers. We've actually got a 45% open rate. So that means when I send an email out to 900 people, nearly half of them are opening it. But if I had that same open rate with only 100 people, well, that would only be 45 people. It really is a numbers game. It's about getting people into that email database, being there when they, are ready to do business with you. So the average open rate, as I said, for emails is sitting at between 23 and 25%. So if you sent an email out to 100 people, and 11% of them opened it, then that's not really impressive. So you need to go, okay, well, let's have a look at the reasons why. Why only 11% of it? Was it the time of day that you sent it out? I see this mistake all the time. So when you go into a lot of these platforms, and MailChimp is one of them as well, they have, their own timing in the background. It might be sent to Pacific time. It might be sent to, somewhere over in the States. And you're saying, send my email out at 9:30 in the morning, and then you actually look and it's actually going out at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's not going out. So making sure that the time of day that you are sending out is relevant to the clients that you are talking to. Now, I don't like to send emails early. We were sending them at 9 o'clock every day. We've had that set up forever. Email goes out at 9 o'clock every day, but because what I found is we end up in the inbox with everybody else who's been sending emails overnight. And so we, a lot of those were getting deleted. So we decided that we wanted our core focus to be on small businesses that were here in Australia, specifically in Queensland. So we make sure it's set up for Brisbane time for us. And we send our emails out at around about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon now. Some of our emails still go out at 9 because we're getting through the process of changing the timing on all of them, but we are sending them out between 2 and sort of 3:30 in the afternoon. So people have had a chance to get to work. They've cleaned out all of those emails that have come through overnight that don't really mean anything. And I'm landing in their inbox in the afternoon where they might be checking their emails before they go home from work, or it's the last check of the day. So was it the time of day that you sent it out? Do you realize now when you have a look, oh my goodness, I sent that at 1 a.m. No wonder it wasn't as successful. I'm not talking to my client if I'm sending it at 1 a.m. Someone sends me an email at 1 a.m. They're not in Australia. For me, where are they? Am I going to do business with them? The next thing I would look at is, what is the subject line? So if the time of day that you sent it out was right, then is it the subject line that's causing the problem? So if the subject line, you read the subject line, you go, oh yeah, that was a bit salesy, it was a bit spammy, then maybe you need to try sending the same email out with a different subject line. Maybe that will help. But the reason why we've gotten our emails, our first emails that we sent out were not an open rate of 45%. We simply went back and had a look at our analytics and we went, well, let's look at how many people are opening it. Was it sent at the right time of day? Let's change that timing up. Let's go for a different time and see if that works. As I said, we sent them out at 9 a.m. and that wasn't working for us. We had to change it to the afternoon. And what's the subject line? Is the subject line something that's getting people to open it? Because the open rate is all based around how many people are reading that subject line and opening it. So it really can only be one of those two things that is the problem. Now, I haven't gone any more in depth into this than on this subject than this, because I think that gives you a really great idea, because then you would change it. Then if you're getting to the stage where maybe your open rate is at 45%, then you would be looking at the next lot of analytics, which would be the analytics in the actual email. So the way that we write our emails is we normally base our emails on a blog that we've written on our website. We give them the first paragraph of that blog, and then we say, click here to read more, and then that sends them to our website. So that's called a click through, getting them through to our website from our email. So we would be looking at our click through rate, and we would be saying, okay, great, well, 45% of people are opening it, but you know, only 1% of people are clicking through. Now, the average click-through rate is between 2 and 3% for emails, so you should be sitting at around 2 or 3%. So let's put those numbers into perspective for you. 100 people, 45 of them are going to open it, according to our stats. We're around a 43 to 45% open rate. So 45% of people are going to open that email. So they'll get it and they're going to open it. And then if I'm looking at 1% of people are going to click through to the website, even though the average is between 2 or 3, I'm just going to say 1%. 1% of them click through to the website. So you're looking at 20 people are going to click through to the website. And then from there, how many, you know, am I getting sales from that? So you can see how the analytics can go all the way through to your website. And MailChimp does have, Flowdesk does as well. There's a few other platforms. I'm just talking MailChimp because that's what we use. But it will actually track everybody all the way through, and it will report back saying, off this email that you sent, you got sales of X, which is really cool. So if you are having an event, or if you're launching a product, or if you're doing something along those lines, and you can put the pixel as such on your website so that MailChimp can actually see what people are doing, then it'll actually go all the way through and it'll show you, off this email, you had 45% open rate, you had a 1% click through, and these are the amount of sales that you made off those people. So that can be really, really good. You can also link up your Eventbrite account as well. So if you're a business that sends out events, I know I'm the president of my local Chamber of Commerce, so we use MailChimp as well, and it tells me how many people opened the email and then how many ticket sales we got off that one email. So I'm always talking to our board about the fact that we sent out, we sent out 3 emails this month, and it brought in, might have brought in $500 worth of ticket sales to our events. So having that analytics going all the way through is really important, but sitting down and actually knowing what it means. And this is where we deal with a lot of clients as well in these one-on-ones that we can have through the ASBAS program, is that somebody will say, can you just have a look at the back end of my MailChimp and tell me what's going on? I'm sending out all these emails and I don't understand the analytics. So I can go through and actually explain it all to them and show them and point out where their problems are. So if you are just constantly doing the same thing over and over again, it is the definition of insanity and you won't get anywhere with it. So I know some of you have been putting questions into the chat as we've been going through, but I'm just going to ask you if you've got any final questions now, because that's the end of today's presentation. I do have a few things to go over with you, but it's kind of the end of today's presentation. But if you have any questions, just pop them into the chat and I'll get them answered before I finish up. I just want to touch on with you as to what you can do through the Australian Small Business Advisory Services Program. So obviously you've come to this free webinar today, which is fantastic, but there's other options for you as well. You can have one-on-one sessions with experts like myself or from anywhere around Australia. They are amazing, from just $44 an hour. To put you guys in the picture, we charge $120 for an online session. So the fact that you can access our services for $44 is really amazing. We do have 2-hour workshops. These are unbelievable, $25 for a 2-hour workshop. So the workshops will be on things like blogging, and there used to be a MailChimp one, etc. that you could go to as well, but there's lots of workshops that you can go to. You get to spend 2 hours, you get a copy of that recording, 2 hours with the expert, $25. It really is amazing. And again, for something like that, you'd be looking at probably anywhere from $150 to $500 to attend something like that. And then you've got these free webinars, which is amazing. So you get 24 hours worth of time with the ASBAS program. And as far as we're aware, it is coming to an end in June 30. So please make sure that you take advantage of it where you can. So Kim's just asked me a question, how effective do I think the website pop-ups are? I don't think I've ever used one, just curious. Look, we had a look at our stats on this. We get probably around 10 to 20 people coming through our pop-up on our website every month. These are people that we don't know. So they could be from all over the world. We don't have any other stats on them other than that. So we do find that it's not too bad, but in saying that, we also have a number of people going to our website on a daily basis as well. So, you know, a lot of people don't have the amount of people, you know, we have anywhere from sort of, and it's not huge, don't get me wrong, it's not the best website of all time, but we have anywhere from sort of 100 to 250 people a day going to our website. So I think that the key is that we've got people going to our websites. So if you don't have people going to your website, of course, the less people you're going to have coming to you for a pop-up, because it's all a numbers game. We've grown our business off the emails that we've been able to send out. What's really interesting is that when we meet people, we started our business just over 2 years ago. When we meet people from 2 years ago and we see them again today, either we see them in person or sometimes they pop up in one of these webinars, and you'll hear me say sometimes, oh my gosh, it's really great to see you here, because I see the name pop up because I recognize them. And, you know, people will say to us, you've been sending me emails for 2 years. I can't believe that you've sent me emails for 2 years. And eventually someone will do business with us in some way, shape or form. Our emails are all centered around helping people and building rapport. We don't do the hard sell. We normally send an email out once a month just saying, hey, look, here's the webinars and workshops that are coming up for the next month, so people know. But certainly when I look at our email and I see we've got 900 subscribers, we've put a lot more people into it than that, and people unsubscribe all the time. But we're probably entering in, including the pop-up from our website, I need to just double check, but I would have to say it's anywhere from 100 to 150 people a month going into our MailChimp, so into our email database. It does work. You do have to stay with it, but it does work. And as I said to you, there's a certain level of expectation when somebody purchases from you that you will send them emails also. So speaking of emails, the next email that we've got coming up is today. It's in a couple of hours, and it is about low-cost marketing strategies. So another different one there. If you can't come to that one today, the other one that's great is winning the SEO game. So this is about getting people to your website. We were talking about the amount of people that we have going to our website on a daily basis, and that's been a build-up of a lot of the strategies that we share with you in this particular webinar. So that's on Thursday, the 29th of April. That's pretty much it from me, guys. I know we've just hit overtime. I hope that's been really valuable for you. Go forth and try email. And it's just about consistency. Don't give up. You know, you want to be, I always say to somebody, I am somebody's social media manager before they know they need a social media manager. So that's why I like to send them emails. That's what you want to become. You want to become the expert in your field, in their life, before they know that they need you. You know, people don't know that they need a brain surgeon until they need brain surgery. So, you know, I'm sure that you want to be able to become somebody's expert in your field. And for us, it's social media. So when somebody realizes that doing social media for their business by themselves is a lot of hard work and they want to employ somebody to do it, I've already become that expert in the field for them. So please don't hesitate to connect with me over social media platforms. I love to talk to you guys, but head to our website, check it out also. I really hope to see you guys in future webinars. as they run through the ASBAS program. And certainly if you're in Brisbane, come along to the Click event, which is happening on the 27th of May. I will be a speaker there. So have a great day, guys. Hope that helped you out, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.